So for the first card, we have Temperance. So this is Aquarius Sun, Aquarius Moon, and Aquarius Risings. So, first and foremost, I see that we could potentially be a bit out of balance. Now, anytime the Temperance card is in the reverse position, it's like our emotions are in control. So it's like our emotions are sitting in the driver's seat behind the steering wheel, and boy, can they get dangerous. Well, let me tell you. So, we really need to find our balance again. You know, we need to have our intellect and our emotion to be in balance. We don't want too much of one. Moderation in all things, okay? I always say that with the Temperance card, whether it is upright or reverse. Now, when I see the Temperance card in the reverse position, this tells me, especially since how this is your card specifically, you guys are feeling like you are being tested. Your patience and your tolerance levels and just dealing with other people, you feel like you're being tested. Well, you are. So this is now more than ever, this is where we really need to have patience and tolerance. And we really need to hear other people out because, you know, other people have their own set of skills and abilities and things they're good at. So they have their qualities they can bring to the table, just like we do. But we don't need to be narrow minded about it. We need to hear them out. Even though we may not want to hear them out, we may feel they don't have a point, but sometimes it can surprise you by listening to what other people are saying. This could be in a work setting. This could also be taking place in the home life, the personal life, the family life, whatever it may be for you. But in some aspect of your life, you definitely feel like you are being tested. And so you may not have as much patience or tolerance right now, but this is all about learning to be patient and be tolerant, you know? And the sooner that we do that, the sooner that we are going to succeed at whatever we put our heart's desire towards, you know? Whatever we truly want, whatever we truly put our mind to, we can have it. It's just we have to be balanced. We can't be driven by our emotion. And we have to be patient and tolerant. Now, a lot of times this can indicate that, you know, maybe if you're working, say, in your own business, or maybe you're in a position of authority and management, or maybe just in general at home, you know, maybe you're the one in control. Maybe that we're not hearing what people are coming to us and talking about and potentially complaining about. And they might actually have a valid point. And we may not be so ready to hear them out, but we really need to. Because ultimately, we have to learn to be patient and tolerant. And we really need to be patient. We need to slow down and smell the roses because we can miss a lot of valuable opportunities when we're just speeding along and we're not going to realize it because we're just going too fast. It's like, I want to get things done now, 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 now. But we're missing opportunities, and some of these could be golden opportunities, but we're not going to know unless we slow down. Okay, so it is clarified by the Strength card. So basically, the cards are saying you need to rely on your inner strength, not the fear, your inner strength. If you have a point of view that you are trying to make to other people, the way to get through to them is through love and understanding and compassion. When you speak from the heart, as opposed to being messy with our emotions and just, you know, blah, 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 you know, emotionally vomiting on others. We need to speak from the heart, come from the heart. Because if we come from the heart, then it will be received well. And the other parties will understand where you're coming from and what your point of view is and why you have that point of view. Because, see, when we're emotional, we don't always take the time to stop and think about what's about to come out of our mouth, you know? And it may not be received so well. So this is why the Strength card is coming in and saying, come from the heart. Okay, sorry about that. Cooking and my kitchen timer went off, so I had to run and handle that. All right. And there it is again, but don't worry. Okay, so multitasking here. So this is our circumstances. So we have the Strength card in the reverse position. So this is where we may be coming across a bit too forceful when we're trying to get our point of view across. Now, for some of you, this could be indicating that maybe perhaps fear is getting the upper hand on you. The woman is now at the bottom of the card, and the lion is at the top of the card. So the lion is representing our fear. And so our fear can be getting the upper hand, and we could be speaking from a place of fear. And this can add to why we come across as more forceful than, we would like. Now, for some of you that are not resonating with the whole fear part, this could be us coming across with our point of view with our shadow side, if you will. So this is where our shadow side could be coming in and causing us some issues. That'll resonate with some of you. And we're going to get deeper into this shadow side, so just a fair warning. Okay, so for the focus, we have the Nine of Cups. So the focus position it's like the focus of the entire reading. So we're focusing on the Nine of Cups. We have a wish, and we are really seeking for it to come true. Now, this could be any wish, or, every Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising is different. We all want different things. So, this could be, a wish for a relationship, This could be a wish for, something financial. This could be a work-related wish. This could be a creative project type of wish. This could be many different things. But this will be something that you really, have your heart set on, that you really want. So, with it being in the upright position, this is good. This is definitely indicating that it is potential that we could get our wish. Okay? But with any wish card, we have to make sure that we put some action behind that wish, because then it just becomes wishful thinking. We have to be ready to roll our sleeves up and get our hands in the dirt, so to speak. We got to be willing to work hard to achieve the wish, if you get what I'm saying. Because without putting the action, the hard work behind it, then it's just wishful thinking. Now, for a few of you, you might get lucky and just get what you want based off of wishful thinking. But that's not how it's going to be for most of us. So, okay, so it's clarified by the Four of Wands. So for some of you, this wish could have something to do with your home. Maybe some of you want to change residence. Maybe some of you could be dealing with a child that may have left and gone to college. Maybe you're dealing with some empty nest syndrome. For some of you, this could be a change of residence. For some, this could be issues that are taking place within the home that are not so great. You know, maybe there's been some disagreements. Maybe there could be an issue where we're having a hard time making ends meet to pay for our home. You know, this could be so many different things, but this is a card of friends. So it could be an issue that has to do with friends, family. This could also be about a marriage, the home life. This can also be about prosperity. Now, anytime I see the Four of Wands in reverse, they always kind of go off into a rant, but, you know, we'll keep it very, very short. This is a card where we need to take stock of our blessings, the things that we have in our life that we should be feeling grateful and thankful for. You know, this is a time of giving thanks for what we do have and appreciating what we have. And sometimes we have way more than we realize, because it's very easy to take some of these things for granted, you know, and you just don't realize how tremendous some of these things are until they're not there anymore. You know, for instance, you know, if you got a bed to sleep in with a roof over your head, you're more blessed than a lot of people, okay? On the surface, it may not feel that way, but like I've been saying throughout these videos, if I were to break out the statistics, this would turn into a much larger video. I could do a video on that alone. If you've got something to eat tonight, you are way more blessed than a lot of people out here, because there are so many people that will not have a bed to lay their head on tonight, and they will not eat tonight or tomorrow or the day after that. So when you start looking at things in that type of way, then you begin to realize just how, you know, how blessed you are, and you should feel grateful and thankful, you know. And when we put ourselves in this frame of mind and being grateful and thankful for those small things that we have, then we can actually attract more things to be grateful and thankful of. Sometimes there's a tendency to focus on everything that we're lacking. Well, I don't have this, I don't have that. We don't want to think like that. If we're in that attitude of lack, then we're going to attract more things to make us feel like we're lacking. So let's focus on what we do have and what we are grateful and thankful for, and then things can come together to bring us more things to feel grateful and thankful about. And just maybe this wish coming true. So, and here we go. The Four of Wands is in the upright position. This is the card position for your recent past. So with the Four of Wands in the upright position, this would indicate that there was some sort of happy event. You know, this could have been a wedding. This could have been, you know, a family reunion, a get-together with old friends. You know, there's a festive type of celebration. We have good health, we have prosperity, you know, good food, good drinks, good company, you know, and we're balanced. A happy home life. Okay, so this would be the present, the here and the now. So we have the Death card in reverse position. So we are hanging on to something that we really need to let go of that doesn't serve any more purpose for us. So it's like we're clinging to the past for some reason. We could either be clinging to a certain person. We could be clinging to a certain way of thinking. You know, it could be just about anything, but it's got something to do with the past, and it's something that we're hanging on to that has already run its course, okay? And we need to let go of it. Sometimes we hang on to it because we feel like we need closure. And perhaps for some of you, maybe you feel like you need to make your point of view or something. And maybe that's why you're hanging on. Maybe you feel like you need your closure because you haven't been able to get your point across, you know? This could be many different things, but ultimately, we're hanging on to a situation that we need to let go of. It's time to let go. Because the more that we hang on to the very thing that we're clinging to, then this will just bring battle after battle after battle towards our way. And they will increase in intensity each time. And the reason that that happens is because the universe is trying to say, hey, let go. It's done. It's over. It doesn't serve a purpose for you anymore. Now, sadly, this is only going to be for a very few of you, okay? And I don't want anybody to take this energy on as theirs unless you are resonating with what I say, because this is a card of the present, okay? So if you're not experiencing it, please do not fear experiencing it over the rest of this month, because for those who this card, what I'm about to say, resonates with, they will know who they are, okay? So for some of you, this could indicate that perhaps maybe someone that you know could potentially be hanging on to their life, trying to hang on to their life. So someone could be hospitalized. Someone could be fighting to survive. But really, they're already gone. Now, again, that is only for a very few of you that are going to resonate with that. But this could be a friend, this could be a family member, you know, only you know that. But this could be someone who could potentially still be physically alive, maybe by machines, but they are not there. So their body is still being kept alive, hence life support, okay? And this would be a card of saying, you know, we need to let go. And I hate to even bring that up, but, you know, again, that message is going to resonate with just a very few of you, and that is it. For the rest of you, this is about hanging on to a situation that has run its natural course. You know, ultimately, yes, the death card can be a bit brutal, but it is about transition. It's about going through changes in life. The death card 95% of the time is not indicating an actual physical death. More times than not, it's indicating the end of, you know, an attitude, the end of a way of living, you know, an end to a relationship or a situation. You know, it's time for a new start. It's time to go in a new direction. And when it's in the reverse, we're being resistant about it. So we need to let go. So it is clarified by the Ace of Swords in the reverse position, which, again, this is a card that has to do with new starts, okay? But when the Ace of Swords is in the reverse position like this, we have become too forceful with our words or our actions. And we always have to remember that that sword is double-edged, so we can cut ourselves while trying to cut someone else or a certain situation. We can end up brushing upon our own blade. So it can be pretty brutal. You know, we don't want to force situations, because it can backfire, and that's kind of the energy that I'm getting is, you know, it just backfired on us. Perhaps we just pushed our luck so far that it's like, Now we got to start over. We need this new start. But with every new start, we just need to learn our lessons and, make sure we don't make the same mistakes. Now, for some of you, and this is only going to resonate with some of you, okay? Not all of you. But for some of you, I feel that you might be hanging on to some sort of repressed emotions or feelings. This could be regarding a friend. This could be regarding a relationship, It could be both. Okay? Maybe you feel that someone hurt you. Maybe you feel that someone betrayed you, lied to you. Maybe there's an issue of trust here. And this is why I say I feel that we are potentially dealing with some shadow side issues where I'm not discrediting any of your experiences, because I myself have issues with trust and don't think that I do not listen to my own advice, because I do. So let me just put that out there real quick. But we can't continue to hang on to these experiences and be able to have that new start. Because if we're constantly, let's use mistrust, okay? Perhaps maybe you've been hurt, and so you have a hard time trusting. Maybe you don't want to open your heart. Maybe you don't want to open your heart because you've already been hurt too much. Perhaps maybe for some of you there could be an opportunity for a new relationship, whether it be platonic or romantic. And maybe you're just like, you know what? Nope. I can't trust. I'm not ready. Not interested. I can't trust. Why should I trust? Well, this is some shadow side work that we need to be doing, And I have Scorpio moon, so if anybody has some trust issues, it is me. And like I said, I will take my own advice as well. I'm not going to tell you any advice that I would not or have not taken myself, okay? So sometimes we just got to learn to put that sword down, so to speak, and try to trust until we're given a reason otherwise. Because if we don't allow ourselves to open up and trust, we can block ourselves from making, new friendships, and, could be blocking us from some really good experiences. All because we have an issue with trust. Now, again, that's not going to be for all of you, but it's going to resonate with some of you. And like I was saying, I understand certain experiences will definitely eat at us and give us a reason to not trust, but that's what letting go and surrendering is about. Letting go and surrendering. Let go of what that person or this person or that group of people did. Not everybody in the world is going to be like that. Not every person we come into contact is going to be like that with us. But if we constantly put up that vibe, then that's all we're going to attract. Like attracts like. So if we're constantly in a state of distrust, then we're only going to attract people that we really can't trust, or people that have trust issues themselves. So just think on that. If that has resonated with you, just, give it a thought, Like I said, I don't give advice that I haven't already taken myself. Okay, so for the near future, we have the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. So this is not necessarily bad luck, although some of you may feel like you're having bad luck, but that's That's really all in the perception of it. What it comes down to is things are not coming together magically, you know? They're not just falling into our lap like, there you go, you know? So ultimately, what this means is we're going to have to work hard at whatever it is that we want, whatever we're trying to accomplish, achieve, whatever it may be. We're going to have to get our hands dirty. We're going to have to put the hard work in to make it happen. You know, action, you know, faith without action is useless. And that is the same thing as wanting a wish. We can wish all day long, but if we don't put action and hard work behind it, it ain't gonna happen. It just becomes wishful thinking. So this is a card of saying, hey, sure, maybe luck has not been the greatest, but you need to work for it. If you really want it and you're willing to work for it, it can be yours. The Wheel of Fortune in reverse is not going to stop you. The Wheel of Fortune is just asking, can you please work for it? How bad do you want it? And there's a bit of fatedness here with this whole combination as well. So it's like we're meant to go through this. And it's a wheel, people. So it can't stay down for long. It's going to go back up. A wheel is meant to turn constantly. So you cannot stay down for long. And like I said, hard work, that'll get you moving forward real quick. Yeah! So look at that. We have the 10 of coins to clarify. So this is a really good indicator of what you're working for, or what you need to work hard for. Some of you are already actively working hard for it, and some of you soon will be or should be. So the 10 of coins, you know, this is financial stability, financial security. This is the successful business. So for some of you that are self-employed, this could be the, you know, the successful business card. Sometimes it's going to indicate a familial type of business where it's been passed down from generation to generation. So it helps to support many different parts of the family that it just keeps getting passed down. So it's not just, you know, financial stability, it's wealth as well. It can become wealth, especially if we work hard for it and we continue at it. It can become wealth. Now, for some of you, this could indicate that, you know, for some of you, maybe there is a new job coming. And if that's the case, then this is going to be a good job. It would be a job that will pay well. It will have opportunities for you to rise, you know, say promotion-wise. For some of you, this can indicate a promotion with extra money. But whatever business would be represented by this card, it is one that is stable and structured and solid. So this would be the type of business where you would definitely get, you know, the benefits. Healthcare, insurance, you know, things of that nature. So it would be a good place to work for. But no matter what, this is a card of working on building wealth. And we got to work for it. Now, for the attitude position, we have the High Priestess. So, you guys already know all the answers to any type of question that you may have, you already know the answer to. Okay? It's like your intuition is definitely heightened and you already know the answers. So, I mean, you don't even really need to listen to this. But you know what I mean. You already know the answers. Sometimes it's easy, especially if we're like super attached to a situation, or like a situation in which we're emotionally attached. Sometimes it can be a little bit harder for us to be objective. So it's like we have that intuition and we know what it's saying, but sometimes we'll be like, I don't know. Well, yeah, you do. You're just having a hard time seeing it. Some of you are seeing it crystal clear, okay? And some of you who are emotionally attached to the situation, things may be a bit more fuzzy, but you need to listen to your intuition because you already know the answers. You already know what's going on. So pay attention to yourself. Pay attention to those those intuitions, those hunches, that inner voice. Pay attention. And your dreams too. Dreams could be very, very vivid, okay? Very vivid right now. Okay, so this is how other people would see you. So we have the Six of Coins in the reverse position. So this is a card where it's like we're expecting money or we're needing money, and we do not get the amount in which we need, or if we do, it's like there can be an offer, but perhaps maybe there is strings attached to the offer. For some of you, this can be about, especially if you're like waiting for a payout on, say, like an inheritance from an estate or something of that nature. This can indicate that the distribution will be unethical. So you could be expecting a certain amount of money, and then you find out that it's much less than you thought it was going to be. And that can be because things are done in an unfair way. Unfair, unethical. Yeah. Now, that can also be with some particular investments as well, so we do need to watch out. Sometimes that can be a card of indicating that perhaps maybe we need a loan. So maybe some of you might have applied for a loan, and that can indicate that potentially we could get the loan, but it may not be for as much as we needed. So something could be better than nothing, but some situations it's like, I gotta have this much. So there could be an offer which, will end up being less than what we need. Okay. Now, this is our hopes and our fears, and sometimes can give us a little bit of subconscious mind info. So we have the Three of Cups in the reverse position, which oddly enough happens to be right underneath the Four of Wands. So this is one of those cards where there could be some sort of issues within our friendship, within a close relationship. A lot of times this is a card of friendship. So something could have potentially happened. Somebody may owe an apology. Is it you or is it somebody else? This can also be a card of gossip, embellishing, exaggerating things. We definitely don't want to be spreading any gossip or, exaggerating or embellishing. This can also be a card where we may end up speaking and we can end up saying some things that are not so great. It's kind of like thoughtless speech, verbal diarrhea. Excuse my mouth, but sometimes we can say things that we don't necessarily mean, and they can come across as very thoughtless and heartless. And that can be a rough one. So it's like somebody wants an apology. So this is like no reconciliation at this point. When we have the Three of Cups in the upright, this is, we've got a reason to celebrate. This is also like a reconciliation, but when it's in the reverse, nope. there's not a reconciliation, an apology needs to be made. So it's either you or somebody else. Maybe you expect an apology from someone. But again, my advice is let go, because if it's meant to be, the moment that we let go, it will happen if it's meant to be. But sometimes the more that we expect something and try to control a situation, sometimes we can just make it worse by trying to control it. And it's natural as human beings, we want to control the situations, especially, around us. But sometimes we're making them worse. So the moment that we let go, this is when things can go our way. And if someone hurt you, that could be adding to the mistrust and the whole shadow side. So perhaps maybe this could have been a reoccurring theme throughout your life. Or perhaps maybe, a situation could be bringing up some issues that could be, completely different, not even related. But they could be re-emerging due to this situation. So, again, shadow work, this is where sometimes we can become our own worst enemy. We don't want to be doing any self-sabotaging, so we want to address it. Okay, so for the final outcome, we have the King of Coins. So let me just say, this is an excellent card to have, especially when looking at the near future. Yes, we have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, which is us having to work hard. But then it's clarified by the Ten of Coins, which is representing, finances, job. So then we have the King of Coins. This is our king that knows how to not only make money, he knows how to make wealth, okay? This is the person that you want to ask that financial advice to, because they can mentor you. And most of the time they're pretty good about helping and sharing their information on how to go about not only getting financial security and stability for yourself, but how to build wealth. So sometimes this can be a banker, sometimes they can be an entrepreneur, sometimes they can be a broker, sometimes they can be a veterinarian. No matter what, this is somebody that knows how to make wealth. Now, for some of you, this could be indicating, a certain person that could be coming into your life. Or it could be indicating the certain circumstances that we'll be going through here in the future. Now, it could be male or female. If this is representing a particular person that's going to come into your life, they could be male or female. I know we see the king, but it does not have to necessarily be male. They could be male or female. Now, they could potentially be Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, but again, it does not have to necessarily fall under those signs, but it would be someone who definitely works hard, is not afraid of hard work, is practical, down to earth, all of those things. Definitely not afraid to get their hands dirty and to work hard. But financial well-being, financial wealth. Okay, so it is clarified by the moon in the reverse position. So with the moon in the reverse position, this is definitely indicating that there's no deception going on. So if this is indicating an actual person that's going to be coming into your life, this is actually a good thing that the moon card is here. This can also indicate that this person could unexpectedly come into your life. So there could be a bit of a unexpected vibe to this meeting with this person. Which you're Aquarius, so you guys are used to the whole unexpected. So, but this could come up, and be a bit of a surprise. It may catch you off guard. You be like, hey, wow, I can't believe this all happened so quickly. I wasn't even expecting it. So you could have a unexpected meeting with someone like this, or there could be some unexpected events that lead to you potentially acquiring some money or a means to make wealth. Very positive. Now, I would like to definitely say be careful of self-deception, okay? Because that is the only type of deception that there is when the moon card is in reverse, is there can be self-deception. So we don't want to lie to ourselves. We definitely want to be upfront and honest. Okay? But when I see the moon card, you know, this definitely indicates yet again that we need to be paying attention to our intuition. Because I know how Aquarius energy is. That intuition can come in like an electric jolt. We need to listen to it. We need to pay attention. We need to sit up and pay attention. So the moon card's also about the evening time. So this is one of those cards where we need to pay attention to our dreams. You know, our dreams can actually bring forth some very good psychic information. So definitely pay attention to the dreams. But again, I'm feeling that this is going to be something that is more unexpected. And if this happens to represent a particular person, it is good that we have the moon card in the reverse, because this is definitely indicating that there won't be any deception on their part. Okay? So that's good. Okay, so for the bottom of the deck, we have the Ace of Cups in the reverse position. So anytime I see an ace in the reverse, this indicates that there's a blockage of some sort. Sometimes this can be us taking a wrong turn with a new start. But ultimately, the Ace of Cups is a new start where we are coming from the heart. It is bringing issues of a heart-centered nature to us. So this could also be about perhaps, you know, someone offers, you know, a relationship proposal. Sometimes this can indicate that it will be a bit rocky in the beginning. Sometimes this can be that we could find out that someone is soon about to give birth. Now, a lot of times this card is focusing on there could be some sort of issue within commitment, like maybe you've been hurt. Maybe there are issues of mistrust, and so you're not so willing to open your heart because you've been hurt a lot. So then there can also be a fear of commitment that comes up with this card. Yeah. And sometimes it's just indicating that, you know, maybe we don't have our heart as open as we should. We need to come from the heart. We need to have our heart open. So it's kind of like we need to work on these issues, especially if you have been hurt and you have trust issues, and that's what's kind of feeding into all of this. I mean, there's something we need to let go of and change. But I'll let you be the judge, because you guys know what's going on and what's best for you and what's not. Okay, so it is clarified by the Hanging Man. So this card indicates that there is definitely a shift in awareness coming for sure. This can also indicate that we may be developing some sort of prophetic type of ability, so psychic abilities could be very much boosted, which I am going to say absolutely. Now, the Hanging Man is also where we are considering making sacrifices that we've never made before. Sometimes this can be about a complete reversal of lifestyle. But whatever it is that we're giving up and surrendering and letting go, because this is very much a card of letting go, surrendering. So whatever we let go here, it's going to lead us to a new start. And we must have faith. We must believe that all will turn out well, because it will. This is also a card where we have literally shifting awareness. So it's a spiritual awareness. And it's shifting. And once that happens, we can't go back. And nor would we want to. So, but this is definitely a good sign as far as letting go, especially if we're hanging on to an issue that has to do with commitment or being hurt and having a lack of trust. We need to surrender that. We need to let it go. Just because we've had, one person or several people hurt us, it does not mean that everyone is out to get us and that everyone will hurt us and betray us, okay? Have faith. Listen to your own intuition. And there, this definitely indicates a new start. But it's a new start where we need to surrender. We need to let go of these issues. Okay, keep your head up, guys. Things are definitely going to get better, especially on the financial front. But I can definitely see that we got some issues that we're dealing with emotionally. So keep your head up. Things are going to get better. They will. I love you guys, and I'm sending you blessings of healing, prosperity, and love.